There we go. How's it going, everybody? That had a little bit going on in that race. Let's just say that. I'm sure that nobody's mad whatsoever, and there's nothing going back and forth in the chat. Nothing whatsoever. Um, so, ooh, all right. Well, looking at the chat really quick. A lot of people having a lot of fun takes in here. Glad you guys like the timer. That's pretty cool. Yeah, as I expected, NASCAR fans can't agree on anything. So, but if you like the music, that's good. I'll make that a new thing each week. Let's see. Yes, Eric did pick Larson, and me and you chat pick Chastain. Um, let's see what else we got in here. I thought I saw somebody saying it was their first time in here today. So if you're new, thank you. Thank you, Marky Mark, for the 5. Pretty fitting today. Pain. All we know is pain as Blaney fans. Yeah, I get that one. As a junior fan, I understand that one. I'm trying to get the full results here so I can get the lap down, all that stuff. But while we're waiting to get the full results in, laps led, all that good stuff, be sure to lick that like button, and so we can, and if you're new here, subscribe. We do this every week. It's really fun. And oh yeah, Jimmy Johnson fan 48. Thank you. It's your first time here. Well, welcome to the show, man. We got a lot of takes on here. I think I'm not going to have the same take as every single person, but I understand if people are upset. See, what I'm trying to do while we're oh, Dan's first time here too. Nice, awesome. That's my middle name, by the way. Well, Daniel, but let's see what else we got. Oh, thank you, Jimmy Johnson fan 48. That's awesome. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I have everything good to go for who's in, out, whatever. I don't want to get something wrong before we start this baby off. But I don't know. J-Ski usually puts it up by now, but they're a little off it today. By the way, I did do a little trolling on Twitter. I got to imagine Bubba's pretty upset if he ended up watching this race. I hope he stayed off of Twitter, because I have a feeling he's going to have a lot of stuff thrown his way after Larson getting this win. But I'll say that starting off, Kyle Larson getting a win, leading 199 laps. I'm just going to say this shows why Kyle Larson, how good Kyle Larson is, why he is such a good champion for the sport in the way he performs on the track, how he comes back from adversity, stuff like that. So good on him. We'll talk about a little bit of what's going on when it comes to him and Truex, as well as other things like that. But as it's coming in now, I think this is unofficial at the moment. I'm writing it down so that way I am completely sure. But unofficial at the moment, we do have the playoff standings here. They probably have mentioned it a little bit on NBC. Everything's coming in a lot slower today, I've noticed. So please forgive me for not having everything up to snuff like I usually do. Hopefully stuff's a little quicker. This is pretty odd for NBC and J-Ski and all them to be a little off. There must have been something in the final finishing order that was, a little off here or there. But right now, here's what the playoff order looks like. I'll bring that up while we're waiting for some other stuff to come up. You obviously got Joey Logano. He's already advanced. You got Ross Chastain now in second, plus 19. Chase Elliott is plus 11 in third. Fourth, you've got William Byron, plus 5. Minus 5, first one out is Denny Hamlin. He lost a ton of spots towards the end of that race. Then you got Ryan Blaney, minus 18 in sixth. Christopher Bell, minus 33. And Chase Briscoe, minus 44. Those two are in must-win territory right now. I have the same question as you, the average Godzilla enjoyer. Who spun? Seriously, who spun? on that last lap. I can't believe they didn't notice it on the track. But when Larson's coming around, you can see someone in the grass spinning off turn 4. It looked like a turquoise car almost. I'm looking right now to see if there's any updates at the moment. Nothing that I can see. But with the way that final restart was and that big cluster of cars, I can understand why scoring's coming in a little late. This came in about 10 minutes ago. AMR safety team was attending to Noah Gregson as he got out of the car. After a 200 lapper yesterday, he was really, really tired, and now you have a hotter day today with a longer race, hotter race car inside of it. I know Noah likes going to Waffle House and drinking beer after the race, but I feel like he's got to kind of put in a little bit of a workout regimen before he goes. Yeah, Jonathan in the chat coming in big here real quick. MRN Radio said it was Ty Dillon spinning in the grass. So for anyone asking, it was Ty Dillon apparently. But yeah, I think Noah Gregson needs to focus in the offseason on getting in shape. That's rich coming from me, seeing how I need to get in shape as well. But to be in the conditions he's going to be in next year in this car, it's going to be imperative for him to get into better shape when it comes to racing in the Cup Series, or he's going to get eaten alive out there by these Cup veterans who are doing all of this, all year. I'm going to put the tweet out, and then we're going to go over the finishing order. I don't have who's laps down or whatnot, unfortunately, but is what it is. Yeah, it's going to be a minute, so let's go through it right now. Kyle Larson got the win with 199 laps led. Ross Chastain with a very safe but very clutch second place finish today. Ran well, made some very smart moves, and it was very much a mature race for Ross Chastain. He didn't really get into any scuffles. He backed out of scuffles that he could have had, so good on him on that one. Third was AJ Allmendinger. Good run for him. I am very excited to see what he can do full-time in Cup next year. I think he could finish half the races in the top 10, which would be 18 top 10s next year. I think AJ Allmendinger can do that. Austin Dillon with a 4th place run and a 5th for Brad Keselowski. So if you look at that, only one of the top 5 finishers today is currently in the round of 8. I got the hiccups. By the way, thank you, Ricardo. It says, "What's up, Iceberg? I watched your video about Dale Jr.'s Michigan win. A very touching story. Loved it." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Favorite race ever. Very, very good day. Getting back to the finishing order here. Finishing 6th was Martin Truex Jr. He had a good comeback from the issues he had on pit road we'll talk about in a bit. 7th place, we had Denny Hamlin. 8th place, we had Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch very quietly got a top 10 in 9th. And then 10th, Daniel Suarez. And 11th, we had Christopher Bell. 12th, after running a lot better than 12th, but just getting mired back in the pack because of the way that the field shuffled with the green flag stops being messed up and having that caution in the middle of them, is William Byron. 13th, Chris Buescher. 14th, another run that doesn't really show where he finished, but another very average run for Chase Elliott in 14th. And 15th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 16th was Michael McDowell, another solid run for him. 17th was Ryan Blaney. Again, because of the shuffling, did not finish where he was running for much of the day. 18th was Joey Logano. 19th, Austin Cindric. And 20th, Harrison Burton. 21st was Eric Almirola. 22nd was Ty Gibbs. 23rd was Corey LaJoie. And 24th was Cole Custer. 23rd, Corey LaJoie. 25th was Noah Gragson. 26th was Ty Dillon. John Hunter Nemechek with a 27th place run after running in the top 5 in the opening laps. 28th was Justin Haley. 29th was Landon Castle. 30th, Eric Jones. I can't tell where any of the guys finished. So it says on the thing that I looked at that okay, we got the results here, so I'll be completely sure. Yeah, Justin Haley 28th. 31st was Todd Gilliland, not Justin Haley. I don't know why it said Justin Haley on both on the screen I'm looking at. Then 32nd, JJ Yaley, BJ McLeod, 33rd, 34th, Cody Ware, 35th, Tyler Reddick, he wrecked out late, and then 36th, Chase Briscoe wrecked, finishing last. By the way, be sure to click that like button. We'll put some polls up in the chat and whatnot. But man, that shuffled up a lot today. So going into, I'm gonna put something up for you guys real quick. I'm gonna put a poll up for you guys, and I want to ask, which of the three above the cut line falls out? And if I can spell cut line right. Your options, again, are Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, and I believe William Byron is unofficially at least what we got. So which of the three above the cut line falls out? Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, William Byron. Asking you guys now. Again, be sure to click that like button. Let's get as many likes as we can on this baby. But yeah, I mean, it's I'm going to be interested to see what you guys say, because plus 19 for Chastain, plus 11 for Elliott, and plus 5 for William Byron. But we're seeing a lot of William Byron early, which is surprising because William Byron won the last race at Martinsville. We're seeing a bit for Chase Elliott, not many for Ross Chastain, which is going to be that's going to be interesting to see. Let me get a drink here real quick. All right. It says, let's see. I see like Beast MS NFL says, I don't know. I think Hamlin out. I hope Byron makes it in. Some say Byron dominated Martinsville this year. Again, Chase Elliott ran up front in that race too. Napa Racing Fan 927. I never thought that I would say I'm not looking forward to Martinsville next week. I never thought it either. It's my favorite track, but the way that the next gen is on these short tracks, it's surprisingly bad at Martinsville. I went there in the spring, and it was honestly kind of miserable, to be completely honest. It was not a fun experience to be at in person. Thank you, MVR owner. Have I ever told you that I like your studio setup? You might have, but if not, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, let's go through a little bit more beat by beat what happened today. Just letting everyone know now as it keeps popping up on my phone that the Packers lost to the Commanders. That's funny as hell. I'm so gonna eat crow if the Vikings lose to them in a couple weeks. Well, let's go beat by beat through this race, see what we got here, and then we'll get to the big story that happened in the final stage between Truex and Larson. But starting off, I want to bring this up real quick. A lot of tension was brought onto it, and I think rightfully so. I think this is why Truex need to maybe have some of the TV money away from them and focus on getting the ticket sales up. Because while they had some very favorable shots of the grandstands today where the angle showed it to be more full, they did have the aerial shot at one point, and man, was it bad. Many were saying between 30 and 40% full. The place holds 46,000, and if it was about, say, 30, if we're going to go between 30 and 40, like people were saying, it was about 35% full. Means that at most there were 16,000 people in the grandstands, maybe a little more, a little less, whatever. That is abysmal. And that happened earlier this year at Kansas, and that's something that some of these tracks, especially the ISC tracks, need to figure out, because That is abysmal. People get on me for wanting Chicagoland to come back and saying, well, they should have had better attendance, but they had way more than 15 to 16,000 at it. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that this race will be a sellout when or if it is moved back to the finale. I think it should be because, I haven't said what I thought about the race yet. We're almost 20 minutes into this. I haven't said I thought it was a good race, personally. I mean, I did. I thought it was a good race. I thought that just because a guy was dominating didn't mean it was bad. And you know what? Even with Larson dominating, I'm fine if this is the finale, whether Larson would be in or not, depending on the season. Because to be completely honest, this race, you had the ability to move up through the pack. It was more difficult to pass than it has been the last couple of years at Homestead. But some of these people that were within the first 50 laps saying that it was a bad race, I don't see that whatsoever. I don't agree with that. I personally thought it was a really good race. I thought it was like a 7, 8 out of 10. Not perfect, but I don't think it was as good as Las Vegas or as the Kansas races, but I thought this race was a lot better than, the people saying they were falling asleep during it. I thought that was a little weird. But going through states, there's not too many highlights of this race. It's more just a lot of people were able to pass throughout, as Spencer, or not Spencer, where'd the comment go? Yeah, Spencer put in the chat, difficult to pass, better than impossible to pass. I don't even think it was impossible to pass at a lot of these races aside from Martinsville this year. I just thought that, being difficult to pass is okay, and people need to understand that. It wasn't the greatest Homestead race. I'm not going to say it was. For Homestead standards, it was mid, but a mid Homestead race is better than, a good half the other races on the schedule. So I'm cool with that. I thought it was a good race. I thought there was actually a lot of maneuvering just because there were different, stints where the top guys weren't moving position doesn't mean it was bad racing. I think I saw Jim Utters said there was a point where the top 8 didn't change for 25 laps. Well, they were the 8 best guys out there. It got shuffled up. Racing still was good. But looking at some of these other things, about lap 30, this is where John Hunter Nemechek spun off turn 2 while running forward. Turn 2 was the trouble spot, or as Mike Joy would say, it was Calamity Corner. We'll talk a bit more about turn 2 in a bit. Larson at that point was a half second faster than the field. And coming to the stage before he backed it down to play it safe, he actually had a more than 10-second lead. And I think I put on Twitter around that time, I'm like, this is kind of what I wish, because I'm not a huge fan of stage racing. And this is why I kind of wish that stage racing wasn't a thing, because I would love to see if Larson could have lapped the field, or how far into the field he could have lapped before a natural caution came out, not an artificial caution like the stage breaks. But either way, wins the stage. Now, when it comes to playoff guys through here, you got Byron getting 9 points in second, Elliott getting 3 points in eighth, 2 points to Blaney in ninth, and 1 to Logano, though he's already in. But that was stage 1. A lot of these guys just sort of riding around towards the end, just not riding around, trying to make sure they're not, flying off the track. But real quick, looking at the super chat, thank you, King Sebastian, for the $10 super chat. Let's see. That's on Truex. You can't overdrive your stall. Brake check a guy. Larson didn't expect that. People just love to cry when Larson succeeds, yet they wouldn't say it if that happened to Larson. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll get that. Noah Coleman asking, was Kyle Busch even mentioned in the broadcast? I don't think so. I never heard his name all day. Maybe in passing. That's about it. But or lack thereof for him. I'm going to end the poll here. I asked which of the 3 above the cut line falls out. Y'all are saying William Byron, 64%, Chase Elliott, 25%, and 11% going on the Chastain train. So interesting to see that. Let's go to stage 2. Stage 2 started out a lot more cleanly, kind of the way that the opening stint of the race did. But when green flag pit stops started, this is where stuff started getting topsy-turvy. Tyler Reddick had his no good, very bad day start off really bad when he missed the stall in the first round of green flag stops. You had Noah Gragson bopped for speeding. He never recovered from that, though he was only running like 25th or so it's about where he finished. And then Christopher Bell and John Hunter Nemechek tried to stay out about 8 to 10 extra laps, try and get a little track position built up over the course of the run, see if maybe a caution would come out. Never happened. It was a desperation move. Both were not running very hot, to say the least. But on lap 134, Justin Haley had a flat right front, comes to pit road, had a problem on the stop. I thought Haley honestly would be a lot better today. I know he had said that they thought they were a lot better, but is what it is. And then in the 150 somewhere in there, I believe it was like lap 152, I want to say, Chase Briscoe gets put a lap down. Chase Briscoe ran mid-pack pretty much all day. He wasn't a factor for the most part. Ended out finishing dead last because of what we'll talk about in a bit. But what I want to say today is Chase Briscoe regressed to the mean today. For the last 4 weeks, Chase Briscoe has been outperforming the way that team should be running, the way they've run all season, and people have falsely been thinking that this team is a championship threat. And even if they win next week and then go on to run well at Phoenix, this team is not an elite level team. This team is not even a good team. This is a mid-tier team. Because of the way the playoff format is, people have been falsely led to believe that the 14 team and Chase Briscoe are championship level great teams that can compete week in and week out with the Chase Elliott's, with the Kyle Larsons, with the Joey Logano's, with the Ross Chastains, hell, even with the William Byrons, who aren't really that good but are better. Chase Briscoe, I wasn't expecting him to fall out, but Chase Briscoe, I was expecting to have a run like this eventually in this round. It was a nice story. He made it to the round of 8. Not many underdogs get to make it that far, but I don't think that anyone should be surprised whatsoever with the fact that Chase Briscoe ran where he's run all season. Looking down the board, his teammates finished 8th, 21st, and 24th. This is Stewart Haas Racing in a nutshell this year. Kevin Harvick's team has been about a 4th to 12th place team, and he ran right smack dab in the middle of that. Eric Almirola has fallen to be about a 20th place team, finishes 21st. Cole Custer's been Cole Custer for the last 3 years, finished 24th. So if Briscoe stayed out there, I think he probably would have finished around where, Blaney, Logano, Cindric did, having a bad day. But I had to say that because for weeks I've been seeing all these people thinking that Chase Briscoe has been, this elite driver who's going to run for a championship all year. But his top 10s were, I believe, a Texas race where half the damn field fell out, Talladega, the Roval where everything got shuffled, and then last week, admittedly, he had a good run. But this is the Chase Briscoe we've seen for the opening 30 weeks of the season. So sorry to rain on everyone's parade. It's just reality struck today. But finishing that stage, with 5 to go, he crashed, caused third caution, was out for the day. But finishing that one, you got a couple more in the top 10 when it came to the stages. Larson swept the stages. William Byron of the playoff guys got 17 total playoff points, stage points today, with a second and then a third place run in the second stage. 17 total points there. Blaney got 7. Elliott got 5. Chastain got 3. And then Hamlin got 1. Logano got 2, but he's in the next round. And looking at the way that the points are structured at the moment, those 17 points for Byron are the difference between him being in by 5 or out by 12. Let's see, that 1 point for Hamlin. Byron outscored Hamlin in stage points by 16 today, and he is 5 points in at the moment. That is huge, and that's why, as much as the finishes are important, they do get diminished by how a lot of these guys run during the day. That's just how it rolls. By the way, I just want to bring this up. Did anyone play my drinking game where every time the NBC booth would say ripping the boards, you take a shot? Because I didn't, because obviously I'm sober right now. But I was just really, 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 surprised how much they were trying to make that work. It felt like that scene in Mean Girls where they tried to make fetch work. Like, stop making ripping the boards try to work. It's not going to work. But let's go to the final stage. Flip the page and get there on that one. The final stage was 61 to go. Byron started the final pit cycle. Now, he had issues. This is also what set him back on top of Blaney spinning coming out of the pits. He didn't get the tire on, stalled the car out. It was just a very bad set of circumstances. 4 laps later, Ryan Blaney spins out on the access road, leaving pit road. From what the in-car showed and what a lot of people were saying, it seemed like he kind of like missed a shift or shift to the wrong gear. Maybe went one gear further, whatever it might be. But ultimately, Blaney really cost him and his team a good shot at making that next round. Because looking at where they're all at right now, those 18 points, let's say Blaney finishes 7th today instead of 17th. Like he's only 8 out. So, or 6, depending if he passed Hamlin, But then, shuffles the whole field. Hamlin takes the lead for about a lap or two. And then Truex takes the lead with 47 to go. And at this point, Truex has had it where early in the run he'd get beat, but later in the run he'd pull up even with Kyle Larson. And a lot of people, disagree with me on this, and many of you might as well. But Truex seemed to have started to stabilize his lead. Like at first, it was losing 3 to 4 tenths a lap. Then it was 1 to 2 tenths a lap. Then it was like a tenth, and then it was some laps were even. I think Larson would have caught Truex had they kept up the green flag run. But there's a very real argument you could make that Truex might have actually gotten the win. Ultimately, it doesn't matter though. Tyler Reddick ended up spinning and wrecking, causing a caution with 23 to go, and that completely wiped the slate clean. Truex and the entire field go down on pit road, and with that, you have you have the big turning point of the day. We'll finally get to the controversy 30 minutes into this. Truex and Larson. When they're coming on pit road, you see Martin Truex Jr. Leading the field down. He's like that close, with Larson that close behind him. Larson, in the initial replay, it looked like, and I'm not saying I don't think this is what it is, but it looked like Larson got into the back of Truex just off that. I don't think that's what it was. The replays really showed the whole story, and it looked like Truex couldn't see his stall and then braked last second trying to make it. Larson had no time to react, spun him on, and then you got angry Coach Gibbs. So I'm going to ask you guys right here, right now, was the pit incident between the 5 and 19, was it intentional or not? Because I don't think it was, but I'm surprised a lot of people think that it was. So I'm going to put it down now. There you go. I don't think it was intentional personally. I think what happened is they were very close on pit road. The 19 couldn't see a stall, backed it up way too quick, had no time to react. Because you saw when Chastain went to pull into pit road into his stall, he got out of the fast lane into his stall, no problems whatsoever. But when Truex did, he slowed up in the fast lane and caused that deal. Truex, I didn't see his interview, but I don't see where, you can really blame Larson all that much. It felt very unintentional to me personally. FFR haters gonna say it's Chastain's fault. Maybe that'd be Jeff Burton. I don't know. Let's see. Said MTJ said the sun and debris made it where he couldn't see his pit sign. See, that I believe. I'm surprised that Coach Gibbs got so pissed about it because, I don't know if he said that after the race or if he said it after it happened. But I don't see where that was an issue. 670 package win. Thank you for the 5. Felt like a 2021 race. Very much enjoyed this weekend as a Larson fan. See, I guess I could say it felt like the 2021 race. It wasn't bad, I don't think. God, this little part of my mustache has just tickles right under my nose, so it always looks like I'm picking my nose while I'm doing these. It's just I'm not. I figured I could clear that up. Matt Hunter in the chat, fellow junior fan here. I'll never be over 04. That was his year. Yeah, I wasn't watching in 04, so. What else do we got here? It was Harvick's fault. That's another 100 points. So what we're looking at when it comes to the voting, by the way, click that like button to see a lot of new people coming in here. So really cool to see y'all. But after 2 minutes, we got 165 votes on this. So 92% of you are saying, or 90% of you are saying that it was not intentional. Not intentional. I'm going to agree with that. We're going to end the poll here at a 9-to-1 ratio. Nep Racing Fan 927. Whose win is more impressive, Gragson or Larson? Larson led almost 200 of 267 laps. That's pretty damn good. Gragson, though, I don't know. It's interesting. I almost want to say Gragson because his car was not really set up well for the short runs, and he made it work still. I very much think, even though we didn't show it today, that Noah Gragson is a very cup-capable and ready driver. And he showed that yesterday. That's why I'm like, dude, get in a little better shape so you don't have issues where medical people are looking after you day after day. Don't have these throwing up issues. I think that when he gets, I think a Noah Gragson 5 to 6 years into his Cup career will be a very dangerous driver. And I can't wait to see that because he's a great, great personality for the sport. Isaac, is it too much to ask for Blaney to finish a race? I don't know if you were a junior fan at one point, but that's how it felt for us too. Noah Coleman, 5% MTJ fans, 5% Chase fans, still salty. Come on, lay easy on the Chase fans. They already get enough crap from me. Speedway Anywhere, thank you for the 5. Well, crap. Truex didn't win. Vikings didn't gain a win, but let's keep letting the pack do their own damage. I'm assuming you're a Vikings fan. You win in my book, Speedway Anywhere. I'm going to write down that username. But, outside of the Truex incident, nothing that big happened late. You had that hard charge between the 16 and the 1, which was pretty impressive to see. It was impressive seeing the fact that I think if they didn't race each other the way they were, I think they could have ganged up on Larson personally. I think they let Larson get away, not intentionally, but just by racing each other. And they were too busy racing each other rather than racing the leader. But God, man. And again, this is why I need to get in shape. Let's see. I blame the NFL and their bad penalties. Still not sour about the Vikings. Dolphins lost to the Vikings, so I'm happy about that one. But looking ahead, we got the race at Martinsville coming up. Let's look ahead on that one a little bit. I'm gonna I can't put up on screen, but I want to pull up where these 8 guys or 7 guys that are vying for 3 spots coming up, where they ran in Martinsville in the spring. And I think some of the results might surprise you. But I also will let you know, before we get into that, be sure to watch a NASCAR Weekly podcast this Thursday night on Eric Estep's channel. We're going to talk everything Martinsville, getting into that last race. We'll get you ready for that, talk about a few other fun things coming up with that. But be sure to do that. If you're new here, we stream after every race. I'll be streaming after the Martinsville race and then after every championship race on championship weekend in Phoenix. So we got a lot of coverage at the end of the season. So we got everything like that and everything having to do with the off season as well. The off season is going to be fun. We don't stop when NASCAR does. We keep going the entire time. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, tune in on Thursday night. Thank you, Antar Das, for the 2. I had to manage 3 screens at once: F1, NFL, NASCAR. My team was on a bye this week for the NFL, and I'm not really that big of an F1 fan, so I stuck on 1. But I applaud you, Antar Das. I applaud you. Again, this is Wednesday at 8 p.m. is Eric's Groovy Hollow race. We might have some cool stuff to talk about, maybe even announce on the Thursday episode. Not knowing yet, but you got to tune in to know for sure. But going through and looking at where these 7, Chastain, Elliott, Byron, Hamlin, Blaney, Bell, and Briscoe finished in the spring at Martinsville. You have William Byron, who got a win. He led 212 laps in doing so. William Byron's going to probably be tough again. Martinsville is a pretty good track for him. Hendrick Motorsports. It's very, very much a very good pairing, I should say. So he's going to be somebody to watch, just saying it now. I would not count him out just yet. Ryan Blaney, he got a 4th place run there in the spring, led 5 laps in that one. A 5th place run for Ross Chastain in that time as well. Chase Briscoe with a 9th place run, pretty good for him. Chase Elliott finished 10th, but he led 185 laps in that race. And looking at the way the stage points divvied out, he also swept the stages. William Byron got 2nd in those. So the Hendrick guys are going to be tough. And I feel like whoever qualifies up front is more than likely going to run up front for the day. Granted, it's 100 laps longer, but it's going to be difficult to pass. Looking at some of the other finishers, I believe there's Christopher Bell finished 20th, a lap down in that race in the spring. Denny Hamlin finished 3 laps down and 28th in the spring. So pretty rough sledding for some of the Gibbs guys. That's going to be really interesting to see where they all, end out with that. But just letting you guys know where these guys, had been running. I don't think JGR will be a no-show like they were in the spring, but it is pretty interesting to see. Elite Precision 29, thank you for the 5. Where's all the people saying that Ross Chastain wasn't going to make a pass around to 16 because he has too many enemies? Dude's on a roll right now. I don't think any of those guys are going to take him out. Personally, I think that a lot of these guys are all talk and no bite. I think Denny Hamlin, he's been saying he's on the list. Yeah, I mean, he did something at Pocono, but, people are still saying he's going to do something. I don't think he will. I don't think half these guys are. So I think that Chastain's in a good position, but Martinsville is a track where, if you don't show up, you don't qualify well, you go lap down early, you might be mired back in 20th while your competition in Chase Elliott and William Byron is scoring a combined 38 stage points between the two of them. Or was it 38 or was it 48? I don't know. It was a lot of 8. I believe it was 38. Denny Hamlin, typically runs well at Martinsville. As long as JGR shows up, you can't say that, necessarily that the one is safe because one of those guys is down there. Hamlin, traditionally good at Martinsville. Briscoe got a top 10 run. Maybe pops up. Maybe he's that fluke guy in this system again. Could get a win. Ryan Blaney ran top 5 in the spring. So I'm not going to say that anyone's safe or anyone's in right now, but it's very interesting seeing how these things divvy up. It's also very interesting seeing how these guys also run at Phoenix, because of all these guys in here, I don't think any of them run bad at Phoenix. So, should be pretty interesting. But speaking of the winner, Kyle Larson. Let me see if I can pull this up. If I'm able. But I want to say now, I have the winners list around here somewhere. With that win, Kyle Larson now has 19 career wins. This ties him with Davey Allison, Buddy Baker, Greg Biffle, and Fonnie Flock. And now he has surpassed Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, Harry Gant, Chase Elliott, Neil Bonnet, and Jeffrey Bodine. So, as much as the championship contending season, it wasn't there, I'm going to be real. Like, this was, a very good season for Kyle Larson. Should not be thought of otherwise. I believe this is, 3 wins he's had this year or 4? I mean, he's had a good amount of wins this season. He'll probably, and I don't even think he was that off. I just think a lot of this stuff had just not went his way this year compared to the way it did last year. So this was a very, very good year for Kyle Larson, even by Larson standards. He just wasn't on it compared to last year, and things didn't go his way. Napa Racing Fan 927, thank you for 2. How can all 4 JRM drivers make the championship 4? So the 9 and the 8 are in, so that leaves the 7 and the 1. Let me see how far out they are. I believe it's going to be really tough for those guys to do so. As good as Sam Mayer has done improving, it's just, he's a year away, I think. With a little less competition and a bit more maturing, he's about a year away, I think, from being a true championship contending threat week in and week out. But let's look at what we got. All right. So Sam is what? AJ is the first one in at the moment. So Sam is he's 28 out, and Justin is 5 out. So if all 4 were to make it, Ty Gibbs would have to have a really bad day. Sam Mayer would have to win, and Justin Allgaier would have to pass AJ Allmendinger and Ty Gibbs. I don't see it happening. I can see Sam or Justin winning Martinsville and 3 of them getting in there, but then you got the battle between Ty Gibbs, AJ Allmendinger, and Austin Hill. But I don't see all 4 of them making it in personally. But it would be cool just as like a little fact one day to talk about, or it would be cool just to see one team make up that Final 4. I know a lot of people earlier this year were saying the Hendrick guys could have done it. Ultimately, that didn't work out well. But I don't see it happening, but it could. It could happen. Maybe one day. Let's if there's any other super chats that roll in, looking at, or anything else in the chat that we can talk about before we head out for tonight. Again, we'll be on here next week after the Martinsville race, Cup race that is, and then the next week we'll be on after the truck race, very late at night. We'll be on after the Xfinity race, and we'll definitely be on after the Cup race. NASCAR Weekly Podcast is this Thursday night on Eric Estep's channel. Going to be really fun, 8 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Unless there's anything you guys want to bring up last minute. But looking at what Jar Jar Binks says in the chat about weather for Martinsville next week. Let me look at the forecast coming up and see what we got. But I believe early forecasts are saying 50 to 60% chance of rain Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So that sucks. But no matter what, we'll be here making videos, live streams, shorts, whatever you guys want, having fun with it. Click that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, Speedway Anywhere, to say, I dare you to put up a poll asking the chat who honestly never toggled the remote to see F1 during the Cup race. I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna end off here. But thank you guys for watching. It was really fun seeing you all this week, and see you next time.